Can we agree that Jamie Foy is the king of pinch? Nobody's got that pinch quite like Jamie Foy. At the Copenhagen Open, he did this insane front crook down like, I swear it's like a 100-foot rail. And you just pinch that sucker all the way to the end. Jamie Foy is one of my favorite skaters, and particularly all of his locked and pinched in tricks, whether it's on a ledge or a flat bar, are my favorite trick. And just like many of you, you see something like that and you want to copy it. And so I set up a board that was an exact replica of Jamie Foy's board. I got a Jamie Foy Death Wish twin tail. I got Spitfire wheels, Bronson bearings. I even got the exact same color bushing that Jamie Foy likes to skate. And so in today's video, I'm gonna actually be focusing on these trucks. These are Thunder Raw 149s, which is Jamie Foy's preferred truck. And I wanna talk about why I think these trucks in particular will help you lock into tricks like Jamie Foy. The other day I dedicated a video to trying to hold ledge trick for the whole length of the ledge. And I was able to get a crooked grind to regular and a crooked grind to fakie all the way across the ledge at the skate park. And this has had me thinking, what is it particularly about these Thunder Raw 149s that makes the pinch feel so good? And in just a second, we're gonna deep dive into the specs of these trucks and the geometry of them and the technical aspect of why I think these trucks have particularly good pinch. But first, let's head to the skate park and get a session going. Alright guys, that was a super fun session, but I wanted to get into why I think that these Thunder Raw 149s are particularly good for pinching crooked grinds. So if you look at these Thunder trucks, you can see the axle, and right here you see the base plate, and you see how far this axle is pushed out towards the edge of the base plate. Axle's about maybe like half an inch in from these bolts on the base plate. And if you look at other trucks like Independence, for example, the axle is more in the center of these two bolts, in the center of the base plate. So what that means is that with the Thunders, this axle is pushed out further towards the edge of the nose. So this creates a shorter space for you to actually lock into your crooked grind. So it means when you're sitting on your crook, it's gonna be very, very steep. So like with my other board with the independent mids, when I get into crooked grinds, it's a little bit more forgiving getting into it. There's a bigger sweet spot, but with the Thunders, it's a smaller sweet spot, but once you're in that sweet spot, it's really, really secure. Because it's such a small sweet spot, you have to really be on top of it, really put your weight on the crook, but once you're in that position, you're good to go. And so at first, it took some adjusting, switching from the independent mids to the Thunder Raws, but I definitely think that these have the much better pinch. Seriously, there's like no feeling like it. Like when you get in there and it's just locked in. Like you saw me trying front crooks in that session. I've done like maybe like 5 or 6 front crooks in my life, but you could tell that when I got on there, I was like really pinched. And I didn't land every one. I obviously left like a lot of bails in there, but you could see that even the bails, I was getting really pinched in there because in order to get into a crooked grind position with the Thunders, because there's such a small sweet spot, it's like you've got to go for it. And eventually, after you practice, mentally, I feel like you feel more safe committing with these truck Thunders because that pinch is so strong and feels so solid. I just think it comes down to the geometry of where the axle is in terms of where the distance from the end of the board to the axle. And you can physically, like, you can see it when I'm doing crooked grinds, how high my back truck is. With these Thunders, the pinch is like very vertical. With the independent mids, my crooks were a lot lower. Like my board was just like visually a lot flatter, whereas with it's like a lot steeper. Anyways, that's just my personal opinion. Leave it in the comments below if you disagree or if you've experienced the same thing skating Thunders. But as for right now, I don't think I really want to switch up my trucks at all. I'm pretty happy with these. They feel really, really nice. That session was really, really fun though. I've said this for like the last 5 videos, but I've had a feeling that if I just took the time to practice my big spins, that I would start to really understand them. And I feel like I've made some progress. I was able to get that big spin over the hip that was like fairly clean, but I got one up the step up that I was like really, really happy with. I was surprised rolling away, like how it felt, like how good I did it. I don't know, that sounds kind of corny, but sometimes the tricks just work better than you expect them to. I just started like scooting my front foot back a little bit more, kind of like a tray flip, and something about the leverage point in that new foot positioning, it just whips the rotation around better for me. And the last few sessions I've been able to do big spins on the hip as well as the step up. I felt fortunate enough to actually get a solid backside flip on the hip as well. If you keep up with me, you know backside flip is a trick that I didn't have, and then when I learned it, it felt like really, really comfortable, and then I lost it, and now I'm like trying to figure out how to do it properly again. So it's always a positive thing when I can get a good backside flip in a session. My session was pretty much over. I was just gonna do the tray flip out of the bank for you guys, but then my phone died. I feel like I say this in every video, so I had to go charge it, and by the time that I got back to trying the tray flip, I was like so stiff. And luckily I got a couple out of the bank, and they were actually feeling okay once I got re-warmed up to try them. And literally the day before, I spent an hour trying to tray flip up the step up, and for some reason I thought to myself, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna give this a few tries, see if I can do this today. And literally I think it was like 4 tries I tray flipped up the step up. It took me less than 5 minutes, and the day before it literally took me like over an hour. So it's just crazy like how that can happen. Just your brain, like when you're not thinking about it, subconsciously your mind just like takes over and does the trick, and you're just like, what am I even doing here? Anyways, after I did the tray flip, I was like super juiced, and I was like, I wonder what else I could do. So that's when I actually did the backside big spin up the step up, and then I got that super solid, and I was like, man, I should keep this going. So I started trying backside heel flip, and then my friend Joe, he showed up while I was trying the tray flip, and out of nowhere he just started like filming me, and I was able to get that rolling angle of the backside heel. The first time I've ever done that up the step up, and there were just so many kids there getting in the way. But once Joe pulled out the rolling angle, he showed me a couple of the bails, and I was like, whoa, that looks so cool, because I film everything on tripod, so I'm used to seeing myself just like stationary angle. So when I saw like how sick it looked, I was like, all right, screw these kids, I'm gonna do this backside heel. I don't care if I run over somebody. So as I'm like rolling up, you can see like there's this dad that's about to get in my way, and I'm like, nah dude. And then there's these 2 kids on bikes that I have to like, I saw them and I was like, I accepted in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna land and I'm gonna roll into these kids and I'm gonna get pissed off. I was just like, I don't know. I just kind of accepted it and fully committed to the backside heel. And I feel like it came out pretty good, like for my first one ever out of the step up. I've done them on the hip before, but it's like you can kind of cheat them on the hip. On the step up, you actually have to rotate it all the way. But I was super hyped. Like the session was going all right. And then once I tray flipped up the hip, or once I tray flipped up the step up, it was like, oh man, it's on. So super psyched that I was able to get those tricks. Really, really solid session. Excited to make more videos for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to make every single day a Friday, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.